please join me in welcoming the director of The Laundromat, Steven Soderbergh.
Briefly, I want to thank Cameron Bailey and the festival for inviting us. We love being here.
We love having you, thank you.
Thank you for your time. You should try and be efficient. I have some friends who came with me. Scott C. Burns is here. I hope. We have a lovely family here. Nonso, Nikki, Jessica, please. We have another trio. Gary, Antonio, and Meryl.
Before we open it up to the audience, I'll kick things off, if that's all right. Maybe we'll start with Scott and Steven. Could you talk about the genesis of the project? I know it begins with Jake Bernstein's book, Secrecy World, but you take a pretty different approach than the book did.
Go.
I was aware of Jake's book. I was sent sort of a brief on it. And I was also aware of the leak, obviously, like most of you. And Steven and I had both seen a movie that we loved called Wild Tales by a guy named Damien Zifrin. And yeah, he definitely deserves that and a lot more. And it was about a form of human behavior, and when I kind of started looking at the research around the Panama Papers, I wanted to write about this and about economic injustice. And Steven had given me a book called Thieves of State that I read that deals with corruption, and he's always told me that I should try and write things that are different. So I asked him if he wanted to do this, and thankfully he said yeah.
That's all true.
Meryl, my next question is for you. I'm wondering if you could talk about what attracted you to the film as a whole, but also the rather unusual role or roles that you got to play.
Well, I wanted to work with Steven Soderbergh since I saw Sex Lives videotape. I mean, he's got such an amazing, broad curiosity about lots of things and great stylist. So, yeah, I wanted to work with him, these guys. But I also, I don't know, I thought the construct of, because you're real people, but I was playing a fictional person, but my character, the impact on her was sort of more real in the film, and I liked representing how these gross practices, they're just not abstract things that rich people do to each other. They really have a knock-on effect right down the line, and people's lives are affected. People died to bring this story forward. There's a scene that Steven, you shot where the guy who owns the boat company really did. He took a boat out and tied the anchor to his ankle and jumped off because he felt so bad about losing all these people on Lake George. So, anyway, yeah. I could go on for days.
Antonio and Gary, you do get to play two rather infamous real characters, but in a very playful, kind of eccentric way, because you're also storytellers within the movie. Could you talk about that approach?
Well, there were two aspects. they were very interesting for me just to come to the movie. And one was, just Mary was talking about that, how all these policies and this very complicated Machiavellic artifact of taxation all around the world, and all the tricks of all these companies are operating, it was important just to, because movies and art in general may just serve many different purposes, and one of them definitely just to make people reflect about the time in which we are living and how these affect everybody. The second, it was the structure of the movie itself, the amount of actors and the quality of them that I was going to work with. The director, it's my second movie with Steven, and his proposal, he was just proposing to do something that was out of the box, that was not normal. Gary and I, we have talked to the camera, it was a completely different work of anything that I have done before. So all of those things, this package together was unbelievably attractive to me from the beginning.
It was a really interesting way of the structure and style, if for want of a better word, of this piece. It's a wonderful delivery system. The farcicalness, the farce of it, or the heightened reality of it, I felt was a wonderful way, a delivery system of giving the medicine, through entertaining and really making people laugh. And like Meryl, I wanted to work with, I too liked sexualized and videotape, wanted to work with this man. So it was a fantastic opportunity where you get to work with a director like Stephen on a piece of material like this. I don't think there's an actor on God's earth that would not want to work with Meryl Streep. When I met this guy, and we fell in love. We're getting married, that's all.
To the rest of the cast, Nikki, Jessica, and Gonzo, you get to form a completely different sort of section of the film's narrative. Could you talk about the characters you play?
Well, yeah, Charles, this billionaire guy who propositions his daughter with this incredible shell company that evaporates into nothing. I think it's, first of all, round of applause to Steven Soderbergh for making an amazing movie. And thank you for having us here at TIFF. You really know how to put on a great festival. Really do. This movie is really important because it really shines a light on an important, serious subject. As Gary was saying, it gives you the light-hearted comedy, the fast pace, and gives you the sweetener to be able to swallow the pill. But I think the awareness that this movie brings is really important. For me, that was the attraction of being involved in something like this, And it's a great character to play, and it was an honor to do so.
And I love that it was this domestic drama in the middle of it, and it was a sort of very intimate story about how corruption invades a family and how, wanting to preserve what you have. I think we can all identify with that, wanting to carry on enjoying your life, do anything to save that, including compromising your own morals. I thought that was really powerful.
Nikki spoke about compromising your own morals, and I think my character does that. She's the sweet sort of university child, but when the idea of money comes into play, she's very much her father's daughter, and she wants to see a lawyer. So I just hope this movie also brings this issue to light for millennials, the younger generation, because I think it is a subject that affects so many people globally, but not a lot of people know about it, and not a lot of people know about how it's affected people.
So the question is for everyone. Through working on this film, what have you learned about the power of money in the corrupt world?
Oh, you mean, well, let's be clear. It's a real thing. It's a thing we got to figure out. And I think the only first step I can think of is to demand some kind of transparency. You know. But it's, we got a lot of work to do. So.
Does anyone want to add anything about the power of money?
Well, I would say, I don't think the film, correct me if I'm wrong, is saying that rich people are bad. I think what the film is saying is that the regulations that control how they deal with their money are very bad. And I think it's down for us to have more clarity on what those regulations should be, and for us to lobby our governments, whether it be overseas or here or in the States, for the regulation that will allow it to be a level playing field for everybody. And I think films like this helps that to happen.
The experience of breaking the fourth wall in your performances?
I've always wanted to talk directly to my audience. No, but it was very cool. And one thing that I love about Stephen, one of the many things about the way he directs is that he lets you try your absolutely worst ideas. and says, yeah, that might work. So, in terms of directly addressing the audience, when we knew we were going to use the speech of the whistleblower, John Doe, at the very end of the film, it was hard because it doesn't sound like talking. It was a letter, you know, and it was written, and it's sort of thickly written in a language that doesn't sound like talking. And I knew it was going to be two characters, and I thought, well, why don't we make it three, and I'll be me, and the Statue of Liberty. So really 4 characters. And only paid for one, really.
I heard the question. It was about the specific model of yacht that was used.
Formerly the President of the United States or the Donald Trump's former yacht?
Scott's going to take this.
Well, first of all, I had no idea how you would have noticed that, so you have some explaining to do to all of us. But my understanding, and Jake, if I'm wrong, stop me from going to jail, is that at the beginning of Mossack Fonseca, there was an arrangement that they were trying to strike. They were representing different people, and it was about a transaction involving that boat, which subsequent to that deal, it wasn't that deal, but one of the participants in that deal ended up selling that boat to the person you're talking about.
More questions. So the question is for Meryl to reflect on your acting career and where you're at.
And how great I am.
And how great you are. There we go.
I was born in Summit, New Jersey, and I'm really honored to be here at Toronto. I love Canada. I'm moving here soon, probably we all are.
Well, I think that's a great note to go out on. Thank you to all of our talented guests. Thank you so much for being here in Toronto.
Thank you.
Don't